Welcome to the Lost Lowdown Podcast 153 with your hosts Claude and Justin.
What's up, guys?
We're back, continuing our Season 3 commentary series, and today we're going to cover the Season 3 pre-finale catch-up/recap episode entitled Lost: The Answers.
The Answers.
Which we did not really watch before, which might have been pertinent to, The Answers.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to dive into that, do a little commentary series on it, and see what they say and didn't say, so we can kind of wrap up Season 3.
Yeah. It's, did you say that already? It aired right before the final episode for season.
Yeah, okay.
So they won't talk about what happened in the last episode, but everything before that, they might discuss, and supposedly they're gonna answer some questions here, so that'll be interesting.
Yeah, so if you want to sync up with us when we watch this, I guess the easiest thing to do is we'll put a link on our page, where you can find it online, or you can try Googling, Lost the Answers on Daily Motion. That's where we're going to be watching it from. It's in 3 parts. They're about 12 minutes each. It should be good. I'm interested to see, what they say and most importantly, how they say it.
Oh yeah, that's always the key with these two.
Yeah.
They choose their words very carefully, which is funny because in their banter they have the illusion of being very loose and silly, but they're actually quite careful about the way they phrase things.
The looseness and silliness gives them time to be careful on how they say things.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's like, oh, the pants. Let's joke about pants for a while I think about how we're gonna say stuff.
Yeah. How I avoid the question, yeah.
Yeah, it's funny. So yeah, this will be interesting. This is definitely something I didn't pay attention to back in 2007.
Yeah. All right, well, let's dive in.
All right, let's do it.
All right, here we go. Let's sync up.
Okay.
You ready?
I'm ready.
All right. All right, here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. What, there's a plane crash on this show?
That was the tail section.
It's the story that began with a simple question.
Where are we?
But the search for the answer.
Search for the answer was just the beginning.
Funny thing to
A
say.
mysterious island.
Deck of houses and dormitories with water and power.
A group of
That makes it sound like they found the houses like right away.
Yeah.
We can't live together. This is our island. We're gonna die alone.
and seeking redemption.
I'm on my own journey now.
We've been presented with
I'm on my
baffling
own
mysteries
journey.
and
Makes it seem like the Blastar map was a part of his journey. I
Yeah.
guess it
But this
was.
story
Yeah, it
is
was.
just hitting stride. So what better time?
Stride, like running.
Mm-hmm.
All that we've learned.
All that we've learned.
Wow.
Producers Damon Lindelof and Carlton Cuse
Wow, that made it seem like they said, Smoke Monster, you can come out.
and provide the final word.
That is the definitive answer as to why the plane crashed.
Why do you find it so hard to believe? Why do you find
The final word.
So many mysteries,
alive.
There were no survivors.
so little time.
So many mysteries, so little time.
Nice.
Lost. The answers.
All right, give us all the answers, guys.
Millions of viewers around the world have searched.
This is Kyle MacLachlan, by the way,
Lost.
Yeah.
which
Nice.
I think is
Do you want to know a secret?
surprising.
Tonight, we go right to the source.
Sometimes you answer a question, but another question crops up as a result of it. So if you reveal that Locke is in a wheelchair, the question then becomes, how did he get in the wheelchair?
I think it's a lot like life. I mean, you march forward, you get answers to certain issues, certain questions in your
So
life.
that's a
but new
huge
ones
thing to
always
say.
arise.
It's like life.
Confirming
So it
our
never becomes completely
ideas
vacant
about the
mystery
show
because it's a mystery show.
pretty
That's
clearly.
part of the DNA of Lost,
Yeah.
and we embrace it.
You'd think they would have come by now. Who? Anyone.
The plane crashed.
Who?
They're on the
Who?
scene for many days. No rescue comes. No one shows up.
The characters don't know anything about each other. If you were on an airplane and it crashed, you wouldn't know anything about the guy who was in 16C.
So, first plane crash.
What gave it away?
Y16C. Was that
I know.
Jack's seat?
Yeah, 16.
Mm-hmm.
The show has been sort of an exploration into these characters' pasts. They're mysterious in addition to the island. And so little things like what did Kate do, or why did Saeed torture somebody, or how did Jack get his tattoos.
I didn't realize why did Saeed torture somebody was a mystery.
Talk about it.
We learn that Jack is a doctor. We come to learn that he was a spinal surgeon. We know that Jack had a lot of issues with his father.
How many drinks did you have at lunch, Dad?
We know that his wife
All
was
the
someone
drinks.
who she had
A
been in a
lot.
crash and
As
her
many
back
as they
was
would give
spinal
me.
injury.
It's okay. I know I'm not going to be dancing anymore.
He believes that this is an impossible surgery, and the
Oh.
next day, lo and behold,
You're gonna
he
dance.
pokes Sarah's foot with a pencil, and it wiggles. Can you feel this? So he has
Yeah,
to
that's an
believe
interesting thing to
something
say,
that
because
is
it's like
his
Jack
destiny.
does believe in the
When marriage
impossible.
begins to happen, it seems, wait a minute,
Sometimes.
maybe
Yeah.
there was no purpose behind this.
No, I remember them saying, like, in Man of Science, Man of Faith, he was both of them.
He holds
Oh,
himself
yeah.
to a high standard. He's insecure in many ways, although at the same time, he's a great hero.
Everything's gonna be okay. We're gonna stay here tonight, okay? Together.
You did a good thing. I'm taking care of everybody and just giving them something to count on.
Kate was a fugitive before she came to the island.
She still is a fugitive.
She is still a fugitive.
Once a fugitive, always a fugitive. A lot in the pilot is made up of these handcuffs that
Right.
Walt finds, leading to the ultimate reveal that somebody on the plane was a fugitive. We reveal by the end of the pilot that it's Kate.
Catherine, what did you do?
I took care of you, Mom.
No, you took care of him.
She blew up a house containing her stepfather, and there's a U.S. Marshal who's been chasing her.
Kate Austin, you're under arrest for murder.
I didn't do anything.
Oh, yeah, you did.
He's taking her on the plane back to the United States, and that's really where the story began.
If I didn't know any better, I'd say you're worried about me, Jack.
If I didn't know any better, I'd say you have a problem staying in one place for very long, Kate.
Yikes. Yeah, I remember that. I remember that when we did the rewatch,
Yeah.
the commentary, and it's like he called her character
Ooh,
flaw in the
That was
beginning.
so early.
You sure know how to make a girl feel special, Sawyer. Guys, this isn't just a bear. It's a polar bear.
The sort of practical questions we really do try to answer. I mean, right at the beginning of the show, I don't think anyone
Practical
expected us
questions
to
they try to
be the person who
answer.
Sent out the mysterious
Okay.
signal.
Hey! We've got a bomb!
Oh, right, the message. The Rousseau message.
Someone come.
I was wondering if polar bear is a practical question.
Yeah.
Because they kind of implied that it was.
It's been playing over and over for 16 years.
Guys, where are we?
Charlie looked around and realized, this might not be a regular island. He said, guys, where are we?
He said, "Where are we?" And then he forgot he cared about that.
Transmission we picked up on our receiver, with the Frenchwoman repeating on a loop for 16 years.
Has it really been that long?
There's a woman named Danielle Rousseau on the island. She was on some sort of a research vessel. It crashed. Her crew died. And she's been sort of wandering around this island.
Her crew died. Let's just say they died.
That's a big skip over,
We
yeah.
don't need to talk about how.
No. But I hear them. Out there.
She has a lot of weird ideas about whispering and the others.
Mm-hmm.
We're not alone.
The big question out there is, where are they? What is this island? Why can't anybody find it? Why all these people? Why were they all brought together? What were they
That's
doing?
the big question. That was like 5 or 6
That was like
questions.
20 questions.
In this season, but as we move forward, stuff that we're very focused on answering.
I think the show is kind of a giant mosaic, and we have the present and we have the past, and there's the future. And by the end of the series, we will have filled in all those tiles, and you'll have a sense of who these characters were, who they are, but also who they're going to become. By the end, this picture
That's interesting.
will
Yeah.
form the complete story of Lost.
Did you
Yeah.
see Damon's face?
I did.
The answers. Asking the question, was the crash of Oceanagate 15...
So yeah, that part about filling in the future is interesting, because that's
It
all
is.
season 6.
Yeah, totally.
At the center of the show, there has always been this conflict between Jack and Locke, and that conflict has sort of been rooted along the axis of empiricism versus faith.
We were brought here for a purpose. And who brought us here, John? The island.
You have a guy like Jack who's basically saying, this is coincidence. I was a guy, I got on a plane, the plane crashed on the island. The island's weird, but that's not my problem. I just want to get off.
I don't believe in destiny. Yes, you do.
See, that's admitting the island's weird. I don't even know if Jack goes that far.
Yeah.
There should be a purpose, a design to this.
This place is different.
He is completely a believer in the island and the island's magical and mysterious powers.
He wants there to be an explanation, a meaning to all this.
But even Locke's faith was not entirely without reason.
He was paralyzed before the plane crashed.
Just put me on the bus right now. I can do this. No, you can't. You don't know who you're dealing with. Don't ever tell me.
I can ride on a bus. I really
Well,
can.
hear exactly how it was that Locke got in the wheelchair.
This is awkward.
He finds out his father is this man named Anthony Cooper. Locke loves this man and wants to have a relationship with him.
I'm so thankful for you, John.
But this is a big elaborate con.
You stole my kidney. You needed a father figure, and I needed a kidney. Get over it.
So
Get over it. I love
I'm
that
going to
line.
expose you. I'm going to rat you out.
Laughable.
It's right over there, John.
Like,
Right
he would
by the
never
window.
Conveniently.
When Locke got to this island, suddenly he could walk again. So landing on this island was the greatest thing ever to happen in John Locke's life. He becomes sort of the hero that he always wanted to be in his former life, but never could be. The last thing he wants to do is ever go back to the outside world.
Yep.
I like it here, too.
In fact, Locke's conviction led him to solve one of the island's most profound mysteries.
He finds this mysterious hatch.
What?
That's buried.
Did he really solve? That's a stretch, Kyle.
So you want me to go down first?
You're later.
They should have said discover.
Yeah.
What's in the
Solve? Like, I don't think he ever figured out what was going on with that place.
He was in a solo round-the-world sailing race.
He crashed on the island.
Solo
Finally
race.
finds him.
They
Solar
discovered
race?
This is the first of a series of hatches that were built on this island by this mysterious...
You're saying hatches.
initiative.
Yep.
Your partner are currently located at Station 3, where scientists could work to understand the unique electromagnetic fluctuations emanating from this sector of the island.
The Dharma Initiative was on this island.
There's Miles'
back
douchey
in
dad
the
Pierre.
Late 70s and early 80s, and they built these hatches all over the island where they conducted various scientific experiments. The most important hatch was called the Swan, and that's where Desmond...
The most important
hatch.
hatch.
Button every 108 minutes, and he was told that if he didn't push that button, the world would end.
One day, he actually ventured outside of the hatch.
Desmond failed to enter the code in the computer in the hatch.
As a result, 815 crashes.
When did you come here? September 22nd. I think I crashed your plane.
That is the definitive answer as to why the plane crashed. The electromagnetic
All right.
pulse
Yeah.
shot out of the...
I feel like I never doubted that.
Crash.
I don't know.
But the crash was not welcome news to a community of
I
people
guess
already living on the island.
There were people who were like,
Survivors would come
there has to be more
the
to
others.
it or something.
You run, you can make that shore in an hour. Ethan, get up there to that fuselage. There may actually be survivors. Listen, learn, don't get involved. Go.
The others are a community of around 30 or 40 people, we think.
Why would he think there'd be
Not
survivors?
Anyone from the outside
Wow.
world to find them,
This is not your island. This is our island.
nor are they particularly happy when new people arrive on the island and threaten their privacy. Hello there.
The first guy we meet is a guy named Ethan. He kidnaps Claire and does all sorts of nasty things to her.
You're just gonna feel a little pinch.
He ends up getting killed by Charlie.
Skipping over some stuff.
Yeah. Did he really do nasty things to her? I mean, that's not the impression I had.
Then there's Mr. Friendly.
Good thing we found you.
He's actually, in some ways, kind of a nice guy.
I'm not showering in front of you.
You're not my type.
He always has something mean to say that he makes
We'll get to
as
that
much as
later.
possible.
What kind of people
Yep.
do you think we are, Jack?
Kind of people that would hang Charlie from a tree. Kidnap children.
We're gonna have to take the boy.
That's the kind of people I think you are.
But we do know that he is a football player.
Based on the way he throws the ball, I would say he's probably
Not a
on the
quarterback.
defense.
But Mr.
Nice.
Friendly answers to someone.
My name is Benjamin Linus, and I've lived on this island all my life.
Lie.
He's the leader of the
Yeah.
others. He is a very interesting and complex guy.
You came striding out of the jungle, John, to make my dream come true.
He's very smart, he's very creepy, and he's very dangerous.
If you want me dead, why don't you just shoot me?
And he wears glasses.
Because we're not killers, James.
This conflict between the others and our beach survivors...
You're
is
the
like
killer,
running for
Ana
the entire
Lucia.
They've attacked us, sabotaged us, abducted
Here we
us.
are.
Oh,
know it.
You know that sabotage? They didn't. I don't think the others sabotaged them.
Yeah.
I was just thinking about that because they thought the others burned the raft, but it was a lie.
Yeah.
I don't think they sabotaged them.
They didn't.
Attacked, sure.
The search for answers began the very first night.
The first mystery of the island was when all of a sudden the trees were moving and our characters heard a noise and they're wondering what the heck is going on out there.
The first question is, what does that thing look like? Is it a dinosaur? Is the monster man-made? We don't know. Does the monster have some sort of ability to judge you? Locke passed it the first time he saw it, but then later on, the monster grabbed him and tried to pull him into a hole.
Oh!
Alright, part 1's done.
That was an abrupt end there. They were talking about the smoke monster judging.
Alright, let's go to part 2.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, everybody, we're gonna go to part 2 now.
Alright.
Let me know when you're ready.
I am ready.
Alright, here we go. The answer's part 2. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Sorry, redo that.
Okay.
You ready?
Okay, yes.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Sorry, let's do it again.
Okay.
I screwed it up again. Alright. Third time's the charm, guys.
Here it comes. Here it comes.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And then what does it do with that judgment is a very sort of interesting question.
What does the smoke monster do with that judgment?
So I was thinking about that. I never thought about the judgment this way, but obviously the smoke monster can judge you from his point of view.
It's the sort of column of mysterious black smoke.
So I just never thought about it that way. I thought about it more like morally or something. But it makes sense that the smoke monster can just judge what it thinks of you.
Taking pictures of her. Is a monster a manifestation of the island? We don't know. We do know that when it looks at you, it seems to be able to process certain memories that you make.
Okay.
And some memories can become quite real.
Okay.
We have learned that the island is capable of these aberrations. You know, Jack can see his dead father. Walt, who is off, in some other place.
Okay.
For Shannon.
So are they?
Kate sees a horse.
Yeah, so they're putting all these
characters
in one
redemption.
Thing.
So they're saying those are the smoke monster.
So it's all the smoke monster.
Okay. Even Walt. So I think that makes that Walt thing definitive.
Yeah.
Think we should do something?
We've learned the son had an affair.
Since, like, in the episode right after this, they're gonna show Walt again.
Mm-hmm.
Appearing on the island.
They sort of reconciled their relationship.
I mean, it almost feels like that's a setup.
We reveal in her past that she had been told that her and her husband Jin would never be able to have a baby. It's Jin who is infertile, not her.
Then we discovered the son is pregnant.
Positive is a positive.
But it's impossible.
Oh no, it's possible.
And the big mystery is whose baby is it?
Is it the big mystery?
That's the big mystery.
When son was brought
Whose baby is it?
You got pregnant on the island.
It's Michael's baby.
It's Michael's baby, yeah.
It's just...
These are all people who need to redeem themselves. They've made huge mistakes in their past, and now that they're on this island, they get the opportunity to put all those mistakes behind them.
Charlie, I need you to go get Jack.
I don't know what I'm doing, but I'll figure it out. I can kick drugs, I can deliver a baby. Let me explain. I'm a drug addict. I was a drug addict. I'm clean now.
Get Jack!
Yeah.
Charlie and Claire have a long and complicated
It's not helping.
history together.
Charlie starts out very early on kind of providing her comfort and imagining a jar of peanut butter.
Stick to the roof of your mouth.
I think Carlton wrote that.
Mm-hmm.
He loves her.
Yeah.
And part of her really loves him, but because Charlie was an addict, Claire isn't entirely sure she can trust him.
Give them to me. I'm proud of you, Charlie.
Over time, he has become sort of the surrogate father for Erin, her child, and the three of them kind of comprise the closest thing to a nuclear family that exists on Lost.
You know, I'm not giving up on you either, Charlie. We'll get through this together.
Our characters really seem to be able to rise to the occasion and are incredibly
Skipping
heroic
over
and
fire plus water.
Qualities that really
Yeah.
transcend.
They showed a scene from Fire Plus Water, but they didn't really explain the context.
My name's Benny. That's not bad, Des.
I forgot about that.
Desmond's
Yeah.
a guy who's had an
Quite a
issue with
looker.
cowardice.
Desmond, what are you running from?
I have to get my honor back.
And trying to do the
Does
right
he ever
thing
get his
in
honor back?
life.
Did he ever have any?
And you've got to get as far away from here as possible.
That's a good point. To get it back, you have to have it in the first place, Des.
Yeah.
Desmond's moment of heroism arrived when he sacrificed himself.
So this is Desmond's big selfless moment, I guess.
With the turn of a key,
Well,
Desmond destroyed the hatch.
is it a sacrifice if you don't know the consequences?
Catastrophe.
Like,
Yeah.
He didn't know. He didn't. Did he think it was gonna kill
And
him?
in the process,
I guess he
Definitely
had no idea what was going to happen.
He definitely took the chance.
For the first
Yeah.
time in the show, we've gone off the island. You find these two guys in this mysterious
Snow hut.
Mysterious snow hut. Come on.
Suddenly makes the island visible. And they pick up a telephone and they call Penny Widmore, Desmond's girlfriend.
Hello.
I think we found it.
The implication is the island is hard to find, and only because of this extraordinary electromagnetic event did it reveal itself for a moment and was found. That is a big question that remains hanging over the
Wait, what was the
Desmond
question?
survived the blast with
The
a
island's
surprising
location.
ability.
Oh, just where it is. Okay.
sort of
Okay, this is
precognitive
interesting.
visions
Mhm.
of things that are going to happen in the future.
How'd you know Blair was drowning? You, hear the lightning as well?
When I saw the lightning hit the roof, you were electrocuted. And when you heard Claire was in the water, you drowned trying to save her. No matter what I try to do.
See, that's where it goes wrong, because he had just proven that he can change, he can stop
Yeah.
him from dying.
Yeah.
He can just, just keep doing it.
Well, that goes into the confusion of that whole episode about whether he can change it or not.
Yeah.
It's all over the map on that. Because he just got through saying, I want to go back so I can change it.
The others,
Yeah.
where did they come from initially? What is their genesis? We know that the others been able to leave the island, go to and from it. They go and they recruit Juliet.
Mind if I ask you something?
Sure.
What do you say?
We discovered that Juliet, in fact, is a very successful fertility research doctor.
Judging from the decomposition of the endometrium, I would say that the woman was somewhere...
Actually, she was thousands of years old.
26.
What happened to her?
What if I told her that you could have complete freedom and money to find out?
There's something inside of her that is really intrigued by this offer.
We're here.
And they actually take Juliet to the island and basically install her as their resident expert on fertility.
My name is Benjamin.
I'm the worst thing that ever happened to you.
Really looking forward to working with you.
Her job there is to try to see whether she can
So
find out
true.
why pregnant women on the island are dying.
I think it happens at conception. There's nothing I can do about it, at least not here.
Not sure I understand.
The only way to see if I'm right is to take a woman off the island.
No, you're not taking anybody off the island.
Why not?
Juliet
I want to hear why
really
not.
becomes aware that Ben is manipulating her, and all she wants is to get
If
off
you
the
care so
side.
much about solving the problem, why not?
Stay here until your work is
Part of her work is to figure out.
The
Yeah.
mothers keep dying.
Then we'll find
See, that's the wrong part. We'll find more mothers.
Yeah.
But they're dying. You don't want them to die.
Just find more.
And right about then, our survivor...
I guess that's setting up them trying to kidnap the pregnant
Yeah.
woman.
out of the sky.
Yeah.
Of course we saw it.
When Oceanic 815 crashes, Ben's got live footage of the plane, and the crash news has already hit.
I want detailed files on every single passenger.
Those files revealed there was a surgeon on board.
Hello again.
Jack and his friends
This is not the order the story was
were
told.
abandoned Dharma Station.
Yeah, they're going back and forth depending on the topic. Yeah.
Yeah.
The Dharma Initiative was doing research on polar bears. They had them in cages. They obviously escaped. They're roaming free.
There's your polar bear answer, guys.
You got yourself a fish biscuit. Figured out your complicated gizmos. Only took the bears 2 hours. How many of them were?
Yeah.
Jack is being asked to do
Classic
the surgery.
Sawyer.
You need to be in surgery yesterday.
All right then. Whatever you need, it's yours.
Uh-oh.
You
Uh-oh.
misunderstood me. I didn't say I was going to do it. I just wanted you to understand.
I love that.
That's the best Jack, is when
That's
he's
so
just really
great.
indignant.
You are great.
This made it sound like killing Sawyer was like the plan.
Shows who's Kate
Mhm.
choose.
But that's not really how it happened.
I guess
Like,
the
it was
question
kind of
is,
organic
is
that
Kate
Pickett
sleeping
wanted to
with
kill
Jack?
Sawyer.
And the answer to
Who's
that
Kate
question
gonna sleep with
Jack
first?
now sees this happen and it's this sort of heartbreaking moment. He sees
Like-
Kate has in fact chosen Sawyer instead of getting angry.
Because of what happened with Colleen, like, that wasn't the plan. I don't know. I feel like it's unanswered what the plan was originally.
Have about an hour head start before they come after you. If I don't get a call from
Well, I think they were there for leverage for sure.
Oh, I agree, but they sort of implied the plan all along was, we're gonna threaten to kill Sawyer, and then Kate will convince Jack to do it. It's not clear to me that was the plan.
He wants to protect
No.
them both. He says it out of love, not out of heartbreak or jealousy. Although Juliet's a woman.
Juliet's a woman.
Juliet's a woman. Interesting.
Answer.
Is that definitive?
Jack and try to get off the island.
He said that if I helped you, that he would finally let me go home.
But I don't think that Jack has given up on Kate.
See, there's
Yeah.
the wishy-washy
Absolutely.
answers.
I don't think so.
They've got him and we have to get
It's
him
not
out.
my control. It's all about what she does.
Saeed decide to
I love that line, by the way. I don't care what Jack says.
Mm-hmm.
That's my favorite Kate line from season 3.
Jack.
Kate, they're watching. Get back.
Uh-oh, it's Fake Picket.
I made a deal with them. They're gonna let me go.
Where?
Home.
So later,
Jack's goal is
have
to
fun
get
being
people
trapped
off
here.
the island. And over the course of the season, we've seen a lot of conflict between Jack and Locke, principally on this exact issue.
You don't have to point the gun at me. I can tell you where Jack is.
I'm not looking for Jack. I'm looking for the submarine.
What submarine?
The one you used to travel to and from the island.
It started back in season 1, Locke's desire to keep everybody on the island. Slowly but surely, he's methodically picking off every possibility of rescue.
What are you doing here, John? I'm sorry, Jack. Sorry for what?
I got wet somehow.
So that's part of Locke being the villain of the show, of like keeping them on the island.
Yeah, definitely. And they say that's what he's trying to do. But...
All right, here's a
And
commercial.
now we get a commercial break.
All right, I guess if you're watching this with us, you will also see a commercial at this point.
So I think the rest of this is commercials, so that's the end of this segment.
That's all commercials?
Yeah.
All right.
That was
so
the end of that
we're
segment.
Cool. We're going to skip to part
3.
3 here.
Let's do it. Wait for these dots. Oh, Daily Motion. You and your dots.
Loading dots.
Mm-hmm. There we go.
Yeah, so far they haven't said anything too crazy.
No,
but it's
honestly,
interesting to hear them just explain the story.
Yeah, because they have to put it in their own words, and sometimes what they say is a little bit different. Like, they sort of say that that the Smoke Monster's judgment of Locke changed, and that explains why he didn't attack him earlier in season 1, but then he pulls him down the hole at the end of season 1. That's something that's not really clear to me from the show.
I didn't take it. I'd have to hear it again. I didn't take it that they said his judgment changed, but just that he judged him at some point. And it's at one point,
like he hadn't judged him yet in the first thing.
Something like that, yeah. When he first sees him, Locke is able just to go past him, and then the second time he tries to take him, but it's not clear why. I don't think they made it clear why he decides to try to take him.
Oh no, they certainly didn't.
But
they implied it had something.
And presumably maybe that's what he was doing the second time. He's actually going to judge him.
Oh, okay.
Like a final judgment or something,
judgment,
it's kind of hard to say.
Yeah, the judging thing is like a thread I wish I understood a little more.
Yeah.
Like what they're thinking at this point, because I feel like later, you can just read it as, the way anyone could judge another person.
Yeah, for sure.
But it seems like it has more weight than that, and I don't know if that's just me or they intended it to have more weight and they changed their mind. I don't even know.
Yeah.
It's really hard to tell.
Alright, you ready for part 3?
Let's do it.
Looks like we gotta start with a YoPlay commercial.
YoPlay, man.
Lose the weight, find the confidence. YoPlay.
Yeah, it's light and fat free.
Yeah.
And it's got that, tinfoil top. That's how you know it's YoPlay.
Gotta love it. Not YoPlay unless there's tinfoil on the top.
Yep.
Alright, you ready?
I'm ready.
Alright, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Is it really that good?
Kind of back on the episode. All right.
Crossing paths and intersecting lives.
In some sense, I think the show is about how we're all intertwined in our lives. The linkage between these characters is an important part of their journey and connects it metaphorically to the kind of journeys that we all have in our own lives.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah, metaphor for life again.
I felt like the wrong guy. He conned me, he embarrassed me. He was a bad guy.
I have a son about your age.
We find out, for example, that Jack and Claire have the same father,
I don't even know your name.
although they don't know that they are half-brother and half-sister.
I want it to stay that way.
These are all stories about what are the series of events that led them to get on this plane. Because everything had to happen exactly the way that it did happen. And when they bump up against each other, you realize many of them wouldn't have made the choice to get on that plane were it not for other people.
Tell me, what's a walkabout? The walkabout is a journey of spiritual renewal.
Randy.
Tell me.
Fucking Randy.
No.
This is like the Randy segment.
Yeah.
He was the lottery winner.
Randy's Man in Black.
Worth of $150 million.
I've had some bad luck too. My grandpa Tito died of a heart attack, and the first house I bought my mom burnt down.
He bought himself a Chicken Shack restaurant. It's hit by meteor. Or is it a meteorite?
It's bad luck either way.
It's a meteorite.
Comes to believe
Meteorite.
No, he got hit by a meteor. The remains is a meteorite.
Ah, there we go.
Along with,
I made 4 papayas.
at the same time, he is hoping that this island has shed him of his unlucky curse.
I did not get that
There
sense.
is a Dharma
No.
bus on
Like, I thought he thought the curse was that he was on the island.
Mm-hmm.
Not that the island was going to help him get rid of the curse. Like, that's weird to me.
But the van actually represents a little more than just that, because Hurley finds a dead body in the van.
Poor Roger.
Work, man? I'm a janitor?
Oh man, what a cut.
Benjamin Linus's father. A shocking revelation that we've made recently is that Ben came to the island when he was a
Recently.
child
I love
with his
that.
father, who was a janitor working for the Dharma Initiative. We know that he had a troubled relationship with his daddy.
With his daddy.
Daddy!
Sorry, I forgot.
Uh,
It's hard to celebrate on the day you killed your mom. We went for a hike. You had to come early. Now, she's gone. And I'm stuck here on this island.
Well, you.
yeah.
And that led him to become a fairly dark and twisted individual.
Or was it being rescued in the cave water?
Yeah, that's a good
Temple
point.
water.
That for as long as I can remember, I've had to put up with you. Goodbye, Dad.
Open the door!
Many have wondered what became of
Yeah,
the
right.
initiative.
That's what I always
We
think when I
learned
see
the
that.
answer when Ben led a mass extermination and emerged as the leader.
With the garden hose in hand, still running. It's incredible.
No, leave him out there.
That gas, man, that gas
The
is
others
like
and the Dharma
powerful.
are not the same.
So while Sawyer is sitting there next to the skeleton drinking beers, they
Twink.
realize this
There it
story
is.
Classic shot.
is actually unfolded.
He's drinking beers with a skeleton, and
Correct.
he's not aware that there's anything dark about that.
No, he's having a good time, believe it or not. I mean, you get your kicks any way you can on the island.
Ben would be very happy. if
Carlton
he
was
able to
interested
be
in
the leader of
that.
the
Yeah.
others, to grow them into a prosperous society. And now John Locke has shown up, and John Locke has sort of exhibited certain specialness, and that's really threatening to Ben.
What if I told you that somewhere on this
How has he exhibited
a very
specialness?
large box, and whatever
Specify
you
that, please.
wanted to be,
Mm-hmm.
when you open
I just don't see it.
there it would be.
That was a metaphor. The whole island is a magic box.
But it's not.
Yeah, that's weird.
That's the weirdest thing is they keep saying that, and I feel like we gotta talk about that magic box thing. 'cause
Yeah.
it feels like I don't see it really playing out the way they describe
The
it.
challenge he knew would end in Locke's disgrace.
I'm sorry. He's not who we thought he was.
That
Surprise,
is,
surprise! It's a surprise to me, guys.
Sawyer killed my father. He doesn't even know him.
Sawyer, when we first meet him on the
Yeah,
island,
he says
he's
we.
carrying around this mysterious letter.
Mm-hmm.
Want to know what kind of human being I am? Read it.
Dear Mr. Sawyer, you don't know who I am, but I know who you are.
I know what you done did,
I know what you done did.
You had sex with my mother. And, then you
and I don't know what sex is, but it got her killed.
It was bad.
So he got angry and he killed my mother. And then he killed himself too.
A very big thing that we learned about Sawyer is that his name isn't Sawyer. The man who conned his parents is named Sawyer, and Sawyer has sort of taken on his name in a bizarre homage to this man that he wants to kill.
We come to discover that the original Sawyer is actually Locke's father.
What?
This is an
Spoiler alert.
as far as he's concerned, but something that Locke knows about, and that's why he puts them in a room together.
Locke knows because Richard gave him
Now,
a
Sawyer
file.
has this opportunity
Yeah.
to do what he's wanted to do for so long.
He pulled a Jacob.
Mm-hmm.
What about you?
When you look at Cooper, he's basically responsible for Locke becoming the man that he became, and he's responsible for Sawyer becoming the man that he became.
I feel like that's partially true, but I also feel like Locke was like that before. It just gave him a focal point, but
Locke's return made it clear to Ben.
the way he manipulates Locke was using the qualities that he has when he's the person he becomes later. You know? So it's not clear to me how much he changed Locke. I mean, he certainly gave him a lot of problems.
Ben takes Locke to this cabin as sort of a litmus test to find out if
Uh-oh.
Locke is indeed special. And the way he
Well,
determines
breaking
Locke's
Locke's
special
back
whether he
is the
can
biggest
fool
thing
this
ever
mysterious
to him,
guy,
so I
Jacob,
think
Yeah.
who's
that's...
obviously above Ben in the hierarchy. You know,
So they just said
Oh, wait,
he
wait.
brought Locke to the cabin as a litmus test.
Yeah, I want to hear this.
and that is enough for Ben to realize that Locke represents a massive threat to his primacy as the leader of the others. So he lures Locke out to this
I missed
ditch
what he
where all
said.
the dead
Missed that
Dharma
part.
bodies were
Gotta go back to that.
Yeah.
These are my people. They came here seeking harmony. They couldn't even coexist with the island's original inhabitants. I was one of the people that was smart enough to make sure that I didn't end up in that ditch. Which makes me considerably smarter than you, John.
Yeah.
That didn't
Locke,
work
you're a
at
little
all.
too late.
That's a classic Locke moment. If he
I
weren't
guess
being
it's like,
killed,
why?
it'd be comical.
He said.
Locke is dying thinking why.
Yep. As usual.
Well, I certainly hope he helps you, John.
You're standing right next to me when that submarine exploded. From that moment, I saw it in your eyes. You want to get off this island more than anything else in the world. Makes you one of us.
After a long absence, the leader returned.
Jack has now been liberated from the others. He's now back on the beach camp with everybody else.
Right.
He brings Juliet with him.
The hell is she doing here?
Our people don't trust Juliet. Jack says leave her alone. That makes Jack impeachable in everybody else's eyes. They wonder, why is he protecting her? Why
We're
is
gonna
he
impeach you, Jack.
Gee, what else you guys
Mhm.
suspicious? Suspicious of what?
Desmond has started having these premonitions.
Didn't they already talk about this?
Cable buried in the sand.
Yeah, they glossed over it.
This is important. Why? Because someone's coming. It's a helicopter. Rescue.
Plop.
How a helicopter's supposed to sound?
No, it's not.
The big event that happens is this mysterious woman parachutes onto the island.
With a wig.
And
Mm-hmm.
she's got a picture of Penny and Desmond with her.
Uh-oh.
She is here with a group of people. They're in a freighter 80 miles off the coast, and their job is to come rescue Desmond.
Satellite phone.
Okay, he's misdirecting
As
us.
soon as we get that radio to work,
Yep,
our guys
totally.
can call that freighter, and they can get rescued.
But that's never going to happen.
Well, so you say.
If they get off the island, the
Nice.
show's over.
That part right there.
If you get off the island, the show.
If they get off the island, the show's over. They're totally fucking with us.
Yeah.
No, they found the plane. There were no survivors.
One theory is that they're in purgatory.
But you and I have said publicly that they're not in purgatory. They're not ghosts. They are actually alive and breathing somewhere in the space-time continuum.
I need to talk to
The
you.
space-time continuum. Yikes.
That's a big place.
Way to get specific.
Seems only fair considering that she's the reason no one wants to tell you that there's a woman in Hurley's tent who parachuted onto the island yesterday.
Why didn't anyone tell me this?
She just told you why.
She really, literally just told you.
We were thinking something
Come
is
on,
going
Jack.
between these two. And in fact, something is going on. Juliet has told Jack what her mission is.
Juliet, it's Ben. I'm sending 3 teams to extract Quan the night after tomorrow.
3 teams?
Determined if anyone else is pregnant,
Did he really send 3 teams?
and we'll take them to
3 teams in one group.
Okay.
The others are now on the way to the beach camp. And they're
A
going
team
to
of 3
extract
people.
the-
Yeah, it's,
For the
I
very
don't get
first
it.
time, we know exactly what they want, when they're coming to get it, and they have no idea. So tomorrow night, we stop running. We stop living in fear of them. Because when they show up, we're gonna blow them all to hell.
The problem is that the others now know about Naomi, the woman who was parachuted onto the island.
If you leave right now, how long will it take you to reach their camp?
If I take my 10 best, we can set up to hit them by
10, yeah.
3 teams. 3 teams, right?
What if she hasn't had time
Then
to
we'll
identify
take all
them?
their women.
All of them.
If any of them are stupid enough to get in your way, kill them.
I can't transmit using this phone because Daniel's distress signal.
Wait, he said that to Richard? That was a weird cut.
No, it's a weird cut. He didn't say it to Richard. They were just showing Richard's reaction.
Yeah.
Ben is using one of the Dharma stations to block all of the signals off of the island except for ours.
What station?
They call it the Looking Glass, but it's underwater. I have no idea.
Wait a minute. How did Juliet know about that?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Because I thought it was a secret.
It actually connects to the station underwater called the Looking
Like, I thought you were on Simon in Canada. Like, I don't understand why she's in on that. That's weird.
Even if the station's flooded,
That never bothered me.
I think I'll be able to find the relay switch and disable it. Now, I'm not letting you go on some suicide mission just to flip a switch. Someone has to deliver.
Suicide mission to flip a switch?
I'll do it. Charlie, unfortunately, has been told that he's going to die.
If you don't, none of it will happen.
He's been told.
Mm-hmm.
Claire and the baby get into helicopter.
Helicopter.
And then the helicopter crashes and they die. Like, how do you know that they get to rescue? They get to
Helicopter. That's all you need.
There's a blinking yellow light. Flick the switch, and then you drown.
With the threat of the others imminent, Charlie accepted his fateful mission.
And instead of being fearful of this, Charlie heroically embraces this fate, and he goes, so be it.
It's what needs to be done to get us all rescued. I'll be fine, Claire. You gotta promise me something. Don't worry about me.
Alright.
Can do.
Heroes
Can
are sort
do.
of born out in
Deal.
moments. And the reality is most of our characters are heroes. When the proverbial others are coming
The proverbial others.
and take action.
So here we go again, huh?
Here we go again.
It's like at the end of every season, we got a big fight.
Yep.
When they act in the spirit of the community, they protect each other.
Wait! Dude, it's fine. I don't even want to go on your stupid boat.
Just remember I love you, man.
Yeah, whatever. I love you too.
The question remains, what is the fate of our castaways? Are they going to get off this island?
Ultimately, it's about these people. It always has been.
This island has given them
All right, he
the
just
opportunity
said
to
it.
really reinvent
Yep.
themselves, and that change.
Season 3, he said it.
Is really what the end game of the show will be all about.
Also, Bunny and Greta.
Mm-hmm. Alright, Lost.
There
I think that's, like,
goes.
the last thing they just said.
Alright.
The end game of the island. Or the end game of the story. Let's see what he said. Come on, I want to play it.
Yeah, you gotta hit replay and... Looking for the end game?
He said the island has given them a chance to reinvent themselves, and ultimately that will be the... Wait, I missed it. That will be the end game.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta hear it again. What is the fate of our castaways? Are they gonna get off the island? It's about the people. Always has been. And give them the opportunity to completely reinvent themselves. That change is really what the end game is about. Okay, so the end game of the show is about their change.
Mm-hmm.
Huh. So yeah, so it's not about what they do. It's not about stopping something. It's not about
Right.
saving the world. It's not about their changes the end game of the show. I'm trying to figure out how that ties into season 6. Like, is it like their change is what causes this flash sideways?
Mm-hmm.
Well, Well, okay, overall, not too many big reveals that, things we didn't really know.
It was more recap than answer.
Yeah, it definitely was more recap. They confirmed they're not in purgatory. They confirmed some of the mysterious stuff. They put Walt and Christian and the horse all in the same thing.
Yeah. Which is ridiculous.
Yeah, they didn't say it was Smokey, but they did put it all in the same mysterious.
Yeah, if Christian is Smokey and they're all three the same thing, then...
Yeah.
But you're right, they didn't directly say it. And obviously, we know, like, some of what they're saying here is bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
That they're intentionally saying to throw us off or whatever, because they know they're about to reveal certain things.
Yeah.
So it's always hard to totally decode what they say. But going back to the cabin thing.
I wanted to go back to that too.
It's
yeah,
like
what did he say?
5:53-ish. Let me see here. Ben takes Locke to the cabin as a litmus test to find out if Locke is indeed special. And the way he can determine that is whether he can commune with Jacob, who's above Ben in the hierarchy. Locke hears Jacob.
Okay.
Say, help me. And Matt tells Ben that Locke is a threat. So that would be pretty much the obvious way of reading that storyline from this season. Because that's certainly what I thought it was at the time.
Suggests, though, that Ben expected something to happen.
Right. Yeah,
but it's just
if
weird
he didn't
to
think
me.
there was anything there, then there's no way he's going to get a test out of that. Unless it's a test whether Locke is going to pretend to see something that isn't there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But this, I mean, it's possible they're bullshitting, but I think it's also possible that it's what we've talked about some, that they changed their mind a bit about the cabin.
Mm-hmm.
And that there was something going on with Jacob and Ben and the cabin. Not clear exactly what, but he did think Jacob was there, and, he was worried about Locke hearing him.
So, at this point in the story, Richard hasn't told Ben that he went to visit Locke when Locke was a kid?
Yeah, it's a good question. I remember thinking that was in the background of them all expecting, Locke, like the others, that whole sequence of he has to kill his father and they're all like waiting for him. But they imply in that sequence that it's because he regained the ability to walk when he crashed there.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I feel like it's an open question whether Richard ever told anyone that he did that.
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel like there's no clear evidence that he did.
Yeah, it's almost like he, maybe it would be, I mean, it shouldn't work time-wise, but maybe it would be some sort of betrayal to tell Ben that he went to try to find another leader in the past. But it's kind of like, well, that was before you were born, Ben.
Yeah.
But,
he did tell Jack in the 70s.
Yeah.
I think that's the only time.
Well, and that's part of the problem too, is like we've talked about that before too, where you see these characters in the 70s and then they're time traveling, yet, he's not really surprised because the time traveling hasn't happened yet in the season 3 stuff or whatever, or like, that's...
I mean, Ben saw them too, but because of the whole weird temple experience, they seem to imply that maybe he just forgot about them completely.
Yeah.
Like it erased his memory or something.
Yeah, which is kind of why I want to, I give them a pass for when Ben says, I've lived on the island my whole life. If he doesn't really remember before when he was a kid off the island anymore.
Right.
So it wasn't an outright lie.
Like, effectively, it's not as much as he knows he wasn't born on the island. Whether
Yeah,
he
he's
remembers
not.
it or not.
Yeah, exactly.
It's more like, yeah, for the whole life I can remember
Mhm.
I've been here. Which, yeah, I think is a different, I'll pretty much buy that,
Yeah.
It's not unreasonable. It's weird, this didn't bother me before, but now I was just thinking, that scene when Ben's born, they run out of the jungle and Horace is there, right?
Mm-hmm.
But they don't come to the island until Ben is like 12 or something.
Yeah.
So what the fuck did he do for 12 years? And he maintained contact with Horace? Did he work for Dharma, like, on the mainland? Was he a janitor for the lamppost? I mean, he seemed frustrated that he was janitor when he arrived, which kind of suggests
I think the idea is that he languished around trying to get jobs as a single parent for 12 years and then ran into hard times and then somehow came across Horace. But yeah, they kind of
came across Horace again. Like, that's the weird thing. I always felt like him running into Horace then was the moment when he was hired, but it doesn't quite make sense timeline-wise.
Yeah, I mean, he wouldn't take a job right when he has a baby and he's got to bury his wife.
Right.
It wouldn't really make sense to be, I'll go to your mysterious island.
But I guess I imagine, within a month or however long, if he doesn't have great employment prospects and his wife just died, I can imagine that, a new job, going to a new place could be. That's sort of how I envisioned it originally, but Ben should be a baby then.
Yeah. Well, maybe he passed the time barrier and he aged faster.
I think that points out the problem with babies, you want the story to progress like that, but it can't because the baby's got to grow up and it takes forever.
It's always the baby's fault.
It's always the baby's fault.
Mm-hmm.
Every single time.
Yeah, not a lot of answers. Pretty good recap. I loved how Carlton was like watching Damon explain the story as if he hadn't heard it before.
Yeah.
It's like, is that what happened? Oh, okay, nice.
Yeah, it was a funny moment. And that little thing about, really, he was drinking beers with a skeleton and he didn't think there was anything dark about that?
Damon's like, nope.
It was like, no, actually.
Yeah, you find photo, you can get it.
Yeah, it's funny. They have their own points of view about the show, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And they're not necessarily exactly the same. So the product is, a collaboration.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways. But I think that makes sense. Yeah, I think definitely calling it Lost the Answers is kind of hype. It sort of reminds me of, I remember there was a promo in season 2 where they said something like, the answers to 3 big questions will be in this week's episode, and it was really lame stuff that I didn't even realize I don't even remember what it was. So it can't have mattered that much.
Was it Who Burned the Raft or something?
Yeah, it was some stuff like that. It was some like really minor D or E level mysteries. Where it's just like, why did Saeed torture people? That's weird to me. They frame that as a mystery because it's like, he was in the Republican Guard. I mean, you could ask the existential question of why do people torture people, but for information, for, interrogation purposes, the same reason, it just, I didn't really understand to compel them to answer questions.
There's a different version of that question, which is what would have compelled Saeed to become a torturer, to accept that job.
Right.
But I don't really think that's a super pertinent question either. I mean, the little we know about his Iraq, what is it?
Republican
Guard, yeah. Is the flashback when he's a kid, and it kind of is like, he's sort of a murderer.
Yeah.
But
he had that dark side.
He had a dark side, but that's, they don't really get too much into that by this point in the show. So, yeah, I'm not sure what. I mean, it seems like they're trying, they want to really be talking about Nadia, but that's not why he was a torturer.
Right.
It's more why he stopped or something.
Yeah,
but,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that was a little inelegant phrasing there.
Yeah. Yeah. Because it's not the same as, like, what do Jack's tattoos mean, or when did he get them, or whatever.
Yeah. I love how that was a question no one was asking.
I know. And I don't even remember, honestly. I mean, I've listened to a little Lost Slowdown from those days, and I didn't hear a lot of it. Like, how much did we care how Locke got in the wheelchair? Because I feel like of those mysteries, that's probably the most interesting one, but I'm not sure that was a big deal to me.
Yeah, I can't really remember. I don't remember it being, because I don't think we thought it was a mystery.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess I didn't envision it being something that they would really have to answer with some big moment,
Yeah.
I kind of imagined something more like an accident.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
there was just an accident, exactly.
Yeah, like that's, hit by a car or, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Things that happen that cause people to become, that way. I mean, there are many ways that could happen. And so, yeah, I was just thinking about how much I really felt like I needed to know that. And I feel like I feel like they didn't, I mean, the answer they gave makes sense. And if they're going to give an answer, I guess that's the one to give. But I feel like it's not necessary for his story. He was broken enough by his father without that, I think.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, they didn't need more stuff his father did to him. But I guess they wanted to push it.
But yeah, it makes
because
sense
of where that
for it still
storyline
to be part of his father. He could have been, he got in a car accident, has that had nothing to do with it, but it makes sense for them to just compound the problems his father caused.
And they're going to push
all be
the
one
conflict
source.
when they bring him to the island.
Yeah, could you imagine if he's like, well, I stole your kidney, but at least I didn't push you out of a window.
Right.
It's like, well, okay, yeah. So really the two big takeaways here are the things that we already know and have talked about, which is the show's about the characters, and it always has been, it always will be.
Yep.
And they can say that till they're blue in the face, and at some point we'll believe them.
I know. No one wanted to hear that. Everyone was still surprised 3 years later when they were saying that.
Yeah, it's so weird. Why do they keep saying that?
Yeah, like, I don't get it. Do you mean that or something?
Yeah. And that, the characters being connected throughout their lives is the same way we're connected in our lives, and so it's a metaphor for life.
Yeah. Yep. And he said that twice during the thing. In terms of talking about, what the show's about in general. So I think, that was another big thing that totally went over my head. If they said this, I'm sure they said things like that on the podcast too, and I just didn't listen to them.
They really didn't make it clear that was important, even though they kept saying it.
Yeah. Just, I mean, they could have emphasized it more, I guess, but they really
everything's a metaphor for life. Comic books are a metaphor for life.
Yeah, exactly.
It seemed like they never said that's the theme of the show, even though they were basically saying that.
Right. Yeah, and they didn't really underline how it's not just. It's hard to explain. It's not. Yeah,
it's not just a metaphor for the show. It's the prism through which you should view the show.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. There's another level to it that isn't there with just any series or whatever. The way you could say anything involving humans doing stuff is like a metaphor for life or like is about life in some way. Because that's true, but I think it's about it more so. On this show because it's built into how you're supposed to watch it, and the relationship between you and the characters is closer than it is on a normal show. Yeah,
I'd love to do some sort of experiment to where you take some viewers who have never seen the show, and then you explain to them the underlying themes of the show, and then you have them watch it and see see what they think
how
about
they
it.
how they view it.
Yeah.
Because it's clear that most people who watched the show did not see it that way,
Yeah.
including us. So we didn't really get the chance to find out. Yeah, someone who hasn't seen it would be very interesting. Nice science experiment.
Yeah.
Find out, like, what would they say? Would they enjoy it more if they understood what it was
Yeah,
about?
or would they enjoy it less?
Or
or
possible.
What parts of the story did they get invested in?
Mhm.
You know, or did they not get invested in?
Yeah.
You know, so when it comes to the button, then if they're like, well, I know the show's about you know, your own analysis and meaning and interpretation of life, so does the button do something? We'll probably never really know. And then to think of that from the beginning and then to watch the characters play that out would be really interesting.
Might just be frustrating.
Might just be frustrating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see that. I'm not sure what I would have thought if I knew that was the point in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
It actually feels to me like, the journey of going from the way I was originally watching it to now is like, I don't know, it's part of the way the show works.
You know, it's funny you say that because that's really almost in a way that's, you know, again, it's not unlike life, right? Where not till you get to the end of life that you really understand what it was all about.
Yeah.
And what was important, what wasn't important,
exactly.
what you should have done, what you should have focused on.
Yeah.
So that's interesting, yeah, that's the natural sort of progression anyway.
Yeah, I feel like that show works best that way.
Yeah.
You have to figure.
Because you can't unknow it. You can't know what the show's about the first time and then try to watch it again not knowing that.
Exactly. And I think ultimately the ideal way to watch a show is like you have to figure that stuff out yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I feel like it's more satisfying that way than just being told that that's what it's about from the beginning.
Well, but the problem is you might not figure that out.
Well, that's true. It's very easy not to. I'm not sure.
It's an elusive idea that you don't know that that's, you know, a possibility really.
I'm not sure very many people besides David and Carlton have figured that out.
Right?
It's, obviously it's easy for that to never happen. But at least for me, that's been more fulfilling.
Mm-hmm.
I think that if I just had it from the beginning.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, it's another one of those life things. Here we go again. You know, it's like you get to view it on the multiple levels that are present in the show, you know?
Yeah.
You get your surface level, you know, and your metaphorical level, and then also your sort of audience member level.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. All right.
But
anything else on this?
Let me think. I don't think so. But yeah, it's interesting to hear them say stuff that we don't know. I remember they briefly said, like, is the smoke monster man-made? We don't know.
Yeah.
You know, thinking about, it's just always interesting seeing stuff from the time, cause it's embedded in that time period. We don't know, you know, and all they say about the freighter is they kind of imply that the freighter is Penny there to rescue Desmond, you know?
Yeah.
Which they know 100% they're about to reveal is false.
Well, and they even sort of, I think, it's not a spoiler, but he specifically says there's a group of people on the freighter, you know,
right.
Which is basically, we know that there's a whole cast of characters coming out.
Right.
It's not just like, there's one person who's operating it and they're just waiting for the rescue. It's like, no, there's a whole group that they're gonna have on the show.
Right. It's not just Naomi and like someone driving the boat.
Yeah, exactly. All right, well, we'll be back next time. This pretty much wraps up our season 3 stuff. I think next time will be our season 4 premiere.
Hell yeah, beginning of the end.
Beginning of the end, literally, yeah.
Can't wait, because, you know, if they get off the island, the show's over, right?
Hey, that's from the horse's mouth. The horse being the smoke monster.
The show's over, and then it's the beginning of the end.
Yeah. Yeah, that's so funny. How many people said that during the time? Well, if they get off the island, the show's over.
Yeah.
Yeah, what? How can you have a show if they get off the island? And if you think about it for 2 more seconds, you could go, well, what if they get off the island but they got to go back?
Yeah, exactly. It's really logical, and yet I didn't expect it at all.
Yeah, because it's like, well, why would they have to go back?
Yeah, that was the big question.
Yeah. Well, Claire left her purse.
Oh man, I should have
had my purse.
Should have taken my purse on the helicopter. Ugh.
Right.
Oh well, we gotta go back now.
It's got all my vaccines for Aaron.
Oh god, not those.
Yeah. Jesus.
Oh, let's forget that ever existed.
All right. Well, thanks for listening, everybody. Until next time, thanks and namaste.
Namaste and good luck.